All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that was terrible. It's almost Friday, almost the weekend. I need a little bit of energy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Awesome, awesome. I am going to move away from this because this speaker is giving me a little bit of an echo. I'm Janae Hawkins, if you guys haven't read it in your program yet, and work for AOL and primarily recruit for the Huffington Post. I think my picture's right in the middle for those that are looking at the program now. Are you guys excited to be here? Yes. I am. I mean, this is amazing that we get to give back to top talent in high school. So really, really excited to be here. And I want to introduce the panelists, which are my colleagues, Ciaran, Michelle, Drew, and Kwame. They're going to give a little spiel about what they do at AOL and talk about their career path, and then we'll get into some questions, okay? Sound good? Yes. So we won't hold you long, all right? Can I have some smiles? Please. All right, cool. All right, Ciaran, if you want to kick it off, that'd be great.
Hey guys, how's it going? We all good? All right, my name's Ciaran. I'm from the Bronx. Anyone from the Bronx here? No? Come on, I'm watching High School from the Bronx. All right. So anyway, I'm a business analyst at AOL. I work with the ad in the ad space and basically a problem solver. Does anyone here really like to figure out puzzles? Really thinks they're an analytical thinker? Okay, awesome. So one of my interview for my position was meeting 5 people and solving crazy logic problems. Like, how many barbershops are in New York City? Yeah, you guys probably have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea, and I still got the job, but it's about thinking logically and working your way through problems. So as a business analyst on the ad side, we figure out the best pricing, strategy, and basically problem-solving, detective-type work for online ad campaigns, right? So if someone advertiser I work with, like JetBlue or Universal Orlando, awesome place, right? They spend, $400,000 a month with us. I'm the guy who has to make sure that all their money is being spent the best way. So whether that's how much we have to bid, right? Each ad impression costs a different amount. It's how much we have to bid to do that. Who we should target. Should we be targeting old people? Should we be targeting young people? People with kids? What type of sites should we be hitting? Spanish-speaking sites? Sites about sports? So basically, we figure out the best way to take an advertiser's money, spend it through our platforms to give them the best return on investment. And then we also spend a lot of time, right? We're a group that encourages project work and experimentation. So I also spend a lot of time training other teams in what we do, and also just working on fun projects that help the group develop new tools using things like SQL, different queries, alternate Excel, trying to figure out the best ways for everyone to learn and grow and deliver the best product to the people who work with us.
Cool, thank you, Ciaran.
Hi guys, my name's Michelle Budzyna. I work on the internal communications team at AOL. So I basically make sure that all of our employees know what's going on across the business, what cool products we're making, different announcements, different acquisitions, etc. So I try to make sure that everybody knows what's going on across the company. So I don't work specifically on anything like tech-based, but I work with those teams quite frequently, including these guys to my left, on communicating that out to our employees. So yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet.
Hi, I'm nervous about this mic. It seems really loud. So my name is Lesicko. Probably you notice in my name it looks like Lesicko, but it's Lesicko, I swear. I've been in the tech world for about 20 years. I currently am the general manager and the product director for a team called AOL Alpha, and we are a research and development skunkworks team that exists under AOL. And our main business charter is to create new and innovative products for AOL. So I've been at AOL for about 4 years. And when I came in, AOL was definitely a company that was lagging behind in terms of innovation. We were mostly known for dial-up and a couple of older kind of technologies. And so one of the major focuses that we've had is making sure that we are building new innovative products, and we're also taking the existing products that we have and getting them onto new technologies like virtual reality, chatbots, which you're going to hear a lot about in the next few weeks, Apple TV, Amazon Echo, things like that. So that's kind of a major focus of my team. And one of the things that I'm a strong advocate for is innovation. So I think that I'll probably mention that more later on.
Thank you.
Could you guys hear me like this? Yeah. Perfect. Because I don't want to kind of hold the mic up to my mouth. So my name's Kwame. I work at a company called Kanvas. Kanvas builds mobile applications. We kind of have a suite of products that are really focused on creativity. So, drawing, creating GIFs, creating animations, creating like stop motion video all from your phone. We target your age group. We think that people in your age group are really interested in creating cool things, not just on the desktop, but on their phones, on the go. Bigger companies, when they're looking to innovate, as Drew just said, like AOL is kind of like known for a lot of the older technologies, but what they do is they invest in younger companies that are growing, that are innovative, that target new audiences. And so Kanvas was just recently purchased by AOL, and so I'm probably the newest member of the team, or of the AOL family. And my job specifically is to grow the audience, right? So like we try to get as many young people on the application as we can. And in-house, what I have to do is I have to manage our designers. I have to manage our developers to actually get the things that we want to get into the application, like in the application, right? So like the next feature, the next, what we call them builds, the next, like cleaning up things that are not working, kind of just managing that entire process from the beginning to the end, whether it's planning, whether it's kind of like wireframing out and structuring what the next release is going to look like. That's kind of like my role. Yeah, I mean, now I'm just kind of interested in, what you guys have to ask and stuff like that.
Cool, thank you guys. So I'm gonna switch it up a bit because I don't feel any energy in the room yet, and I wanna hear from you guys. Because I think that was a lot of information and you guys are probably like, what the heck did they just say, right? So I wanna hear from a volunteer. I promise it'll make more sense in a minute, and we have prizes upstairs, so I definitely wanna give out free swag. Why are you interested in tech, and why are you here today? Why is this important? Come on. All right, I'm gonna go way in the back to the group that did not want to move forward.
Hi, my name is Arkeem, and I'm interested in tech because ever since I was a little kid, I always liked to tinker around with my electronics and wondered how it worked. And I'm a gamer, so I want to learn how to do 3D animation, gaming, and programming, and that's why I really am interested in all this.
Cool, and why are you in this program?
I'm in this program because I thought it would give me more opportunities to expand my horizons, get to learn new things, and meet new people.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, we're gonna wait for more people to come in. We just did introductions. Now we're walking around the room to liven it up a bit. Anybody else want to share why you're interested in technology? Did I pass someone up?
Hello. My name is Imani. It's ironic how I really like technology because when I was little, I didn't really like technology at all. You had the computer class and whatever, and I was just really bad at it. But now I'm really good at technology, computer stuff. Whenever my mom and my grandmother need help around the house with computers or whatever, I'm the one to help them. They always go to me. My little brother, he's coming up too. They ask him for help, and I teach him what I know from this after-school program, Scripted, that we have at our school. I teach him what I know from that oftentimes. And I'm here because I wanted to get to know more about the programs like AOL and other stuff. So maybe I could probably join later on in life.
Cool, and what's your classification? Where are you in school right now? Sophomore? Junior?
Oh yeah, I'm sophomore.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Cool, okay. Volunteers. Hi, newcomers. If you guys want to take a seat, there are some seats right here too. There's about 4 seats.
I got a seat next to me too.
Yeah, there's a seat up here in the front if you want. Why is an opportunity like this important for you as high school students? Why is this important? Yay, the back is lively.
Mainly because you get to learn new things. and you get to see like the whole entire world behind what we actually use every day. And we just get a sense of what people have to do in order to get everything working, in my opinion, I guess.
Thank you. So this is really awesome too. As a high school student, I don't think I was involved in programs like this. I was more worried about sports. I ran track and, to be honest, boys at that time. So the fact that you're here on a Thursday morning is great and extremely important, not only because you're here and you're in the program, but you get to have face-to-face interactions with employers, which a lot of students don't have. So give yourself a round of applause for even committing to this process and wanting to be a part of it. Cool. All right. And I think our other panelist is here. Did you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi guys, sorry I'm a little bit late. My name is Carolyn. I'm a senior writer at the Huffington Post. I cover psychology, neuroscience, and human behavior, and recently co-authored a book on creativity. So yeah, I'm a science journalist, and any questions you have about journalism or writing health and science stuff, definitely come talk to me.
Cool, thank you. So all you guys are well off in your career now, right? What is it that you wish you knew when you were contemplating going into this career?
I mean,
Do you need the mic, Drew?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm pretty loud naturally. I mean, I think going into my career, I just wanted to I loved technology when I was younger, but I was a history major when I went to school because I didn't understand. I thought that going into technology and going into things like companies like AOL, man, I needed to I needed to code, and that was it. And that was the only thing that was involved with making cool products or applications. And that's not true. There's a lot of moving pieces that go into every single thing that we create. So Kanvas or any of the products that we created Alpha, like Viv or Pip or anything, it involves designers, it involves product managers and QA managers. There's a holistic view of the things that we do, and I think that what's really important is to get a good sense of all of those different positions, because even if you don't love to code, maybe you love to draw. And maybe that means that you're better at, you would be a better designer than you would be a coder. There's a lot of different opportunities, and I think that just having a good sense of the holistic view of what it takes to build great products and great tech products is helpful to see where, if it's something you want to do, kind of where you can find your path.
That's great.
And I think that also going into it knowing that there's not just one specific formula for doing something right? So everything evolves over time, especially technology. The next year, there could be a totally different trend, a totally different thing that everybody's obsessed with. So you have to be able to adapt and make sure that you're engaging your audience, whether that's in communications, whether that's through an app, and just understanding what people are interested in that moment. So I think I kind of went in thinking there's one formula to communicating to everybody. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm just going to implement it across every channel. But that's not the way it works. You have to adapt, you have to shift depending on who you're talking to.
Great, thank you. Anybody else from panel? Cool. All right, so minority is a big topic with technology, right? So how can minorities help advance the tech industry given its lack of diversity today?
I think it's important that the people working in the tech industry, and like I said, the internet space like us, is that nobody looks at one problem the same. Like I said before, my job role is trying to figure out weird problems we're having with our ad products. So I work in a team of 40 people, all from different backgrounds, all over the country, and everyone looks at the issue slightly differently and finds a different solution. So I think the more diversity we have leads to the more dynamic solutions to the various problems our society faces. More dynamic solutions will lead to more awesome products, and it's a better experience for everyone in the industry and in society in general.
Yeah, I think one of the words that I use a lot, especially with my team, is empathy. And I mean, that's kind of understanding users. When we're creating a new product, we have to think about who the user is. And I'm a 40-year-old white guy who's a Jew and lives in Brooklyn. And so not everybody that's going to be using my product is me.
And so I need to put myself into the heads of all of the different types of people that are going to be using our products. But if our products and the people that are building our products all look the same, you're not going to get products that make sense to people that are not us. And it doesn't make sense to have things that are just like male-developed products or white-developed products. You need to have a culture of people that understand everybody that's going to be using the things that we create, so we can create things that are better and more empathetic for users.
Right, and I think we need women's perspectives, we need perspectives of people from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and really technology is all about disruption, about moving things forward, as you're saying. And we won't move things forward if everyone who is leading in the tech industry went to Harvard and is white and has this very specific kind of path that they've taken. We need all of these diversity of voices, and I think it's good to remember that you come from a unique place. We all do, and that can inform what you do and the solutions that you come up with to new problems.
Yeah, I think those are all like really, really important reasons why we need minorities and in tech, but kind of some of the ways that we can do it as a group is one, just kind of doing things like this, right? Like this is a super diverse room right now.
Right.
And so I think that when the school systems and the education systems really try to be all inclusive, I think that's super important. I think for employers, they have to look outside of like the pattern that they're typically used to. So for instance, me as a Seton Hall graduate, I went to Seton Hall, so like the first place that I think about going to get someone that like is a college graduate, I'll probably think about my university, right? Like, oh, I'll just go to Seton Hall, like that's where I'm comfortable. But I think at least in tech, they've kind of like listed out a set of universities or a set of places where they can find really top talent, and they're not really like broadening the perspective on where they can bring other talent in. So I think that if you just broaden the perspective, look other places for like really talented folks, and just kind of be all inclusive, like they said, like understanding that you do need that diversity, whether it's a woman or a minority in terms of their ethnicity. I think just as long as you have that like global perspective, I think that it'll impact the industry.
Yeah, I think, one of the important things that Kwame pointed to, which is one of my biggest pet peeves in the tech industry, is that if you look at a job at most companies right now, Twitter, Facebook, AOL, there's going to be a thing at the bottom that says computer science degree required or highly preferred. And pardon my language, but that's bullshit. Like, there's no reason that you need to have a computer science degree to have a job in a tech company. You can go learn at a place like General Assembly to learn how to code. You can learn how to code in your basement. You can do something that's not associated with code. But the problem is that right now in the industry, we worry too much about keeping people that are like ourselves, that we're hiring, and that keeps our view too narrow focused. But the good thing is that with you guys going in and being excited about computer science right from the get-go and going into computer science degrees, at least you'll be able to start breaking down those barriers in the future. It's our job right now to tear down the walls. It's your job going to be to tear down the walls in the future once you're ready for jobs.
Yeah, I would also say if anyone here is interested in journalism, to that point, you also don't need to major in journalism or have a journalism degree or go get an expensive master's in journalism in order to do it. Things are working very differently now. I studied philosophy, which is kind of universally regarded as the most useless major, but there are so many different ways to get to where you want, and there are so many, having a specific thing that you love that you've really focused on, whether it's like political science or history, that can actually really help you as a journalist. So I would, in fact, advise people interested in journalism to pursue what they're really interested in and passionate about and want to write about when they're in school.
Awesome. Was that helpful?
Yeah.
Cool. So this is an election year, right? How many of you have been following along with the election? I hope everybody. Is this something that you're interested in? Is it exciting you? Is it pissing you off? Like, how are you feeling about it? Man. Okay.
Can anyone vote this year?
So that was my question, right? You're close to a voting age, so by the time of the next election rolls around, all of you will be voting, right? So I guess my question to the panelists is, how do you get high school students and millennials more involved through technology so they have voting engagement? What does that look like? Because the room was very blah when I asked about the election, and all of them should be on fire because this is your future, right? And the next time you vote, you'll be voting for a president. But the first time you vote, you can vote for a president in the next 4 years. So what does that look like for voter engagement for millennials?
I mean, I'll take a quick stab at it, just because I'm not the biggest, I guess, not that I'm not into voting, but I'm not really into like the politics piece of it. But I think that the reason why we didn't have like everyone is super excited in the room is just because we haven't done the greatest of jobs, in my opinion, of like connecting it to why they should matter, like why it should matter. I think when they look at the government or the next president, it's just like, oh, he's another lawmaker, or and that's kind of like out of my reach. But I feel like if we connect it to things that matter to them, like the cost of school, like that's on the horizon, right? That's something that they can see. So I think if we kind of just like connect the dots a little bit at this age, and so that they understand why it's important to like voice their opinion, I think that it would be, you know, a lot more.
Cool, thank you.
Well, I also feel like the mediums that are being used are not necessarily like keeping up with the times, to be honest. Like I feel like you hear a lot about like, oh, did you watch the debate on TV last night? And I don't have cable, so it's not something that I can watch in real time. It's something that you'd have to like actually look into later to like look it up and download it, stream it, whatever. And you kind of just get like pieces of things on Facebook or Instagram, and you're not really getting the full picture of each candidate. So I think that needs to be taken into account, the way that like this generation specifically is absorbing information. They're not really, it's still kind of this like long form, old school kind of method, when it needs to be a little faster, a little tighter, and something snackable for people to consume.
All right, another question for the audience. All right, so how do you, just the same question, how do you think Generation Xers, right, and older millennials like us up here, and some other folks, don't want to say your age, but how do you think we can get you more involved in voter engagement? This is extremely important. Like the technology you're using, social media, how can we get you guys engaged? Do you even care about voting? No? Why? Why don't you care about voting? Yeah, you should be right now. Why don't you care about voting? Come on.
I'll be honest, I'm not like a fan of politics. I'm not part of like. I'll just watch by, see like, oh, new president guy voted, all right, go back to my work, you know. I don't see much importance into it. The only thing I care is like how our government is based, like democracy, you know. And I just want it to keep going on. But more time since technology arises, I'm seeing this like tweets, YouTube videos and all of how like, I saw a video yesterday, it's like how corrupt our nation is at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's only one thing that's spiking me in a bit into politics.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. And most of you probably feel the same way because you didn't say anything, nor did you raise your hand, which is totally okay. You in the back, and then I'll go back to the panel.
I believe to get us more involved in politics, as we can see here, we are at a technology fair, and I could assume most of us in this room have some sort of smartphone, so that gives us access to the internet. Possibly the government could make it an online voting registration, or you could vote online, just like some other countries do. I believe Switzerland does that, and they have high voter turnouts. So this will help us increase our voter turnouts to get more people to voice their opinions.
Cool. So one of the panelists, if you could just respond to those fair answers, that'd be great. Because he said he's not interested at all. And he's telling us what the government should do. So what's your response to that?
I just, what's your name? Steven. Just to show you some of the topics that the government has to decide on, right? So like you guys all like a free internet, right? Yeah. You like free apps. Yeah. They're thinking about doing things in terms of like not making these things free. Oh. That's really important, right? And like these are things, these are conversations that they're having in the judicial systems and the government, like, you know, and the government. So like these are issues that you guys care about, but may not be highlighted as much when they do the next debate, right? Like it's immigration. It's like, oh, you guys, I don't care about immigration, right? But if they highlight some of these issues, I think that some of these things, if they, you know, kind of surface them, it would catch your attention. And so I think that like if the information's out there, they might not talk about it in the next debate, like I said. But I mean, I think a lot of that is like really us as employers, teachers, parents, and just kind of people that have your ears, they need to be voicing why it's important, because you guys listen to them, right? You listen to the YouTubers, you listen to the finers, or the people that are tweeting. So if these influencers kind of tell you guys about some of the important things that are affecting you, I think that that would change.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know that there's so many huge, really, really important things that are shifting right now, and your generation is going to be the one to take it in the direction that you want. And you generally, young people and people in high school and college are more liberal, and they have different views about LGBT rights and women's rights. And
Pause. Are we running on time? Oh, okay, great. So I'm so sorry. But we're going to finish up this answer, and then you guys can go. I'm sorry about that.
Anyway, I just think like if you guys want your own world that reflects your values rather than the values of your parents, like you have to do it, and you have a lot more power than you think you do. It sounds cheesy, but it's true. So, Ciaran?
Yeah, I just think society's always a little bit behind the kids of today. When I was a little bit younger than you guys, and maybe someone here can fact check me, 2004, I think we had Diddy on MTV doing Rock the Boat. Right? Was that a thing? And how many of you watched MTV? A few, but that's 10, 12 years ago. Everyone watched TRL. TRL has been off the air for like 10 years now. I think today, the way to get, you don't even know what TRL is. Carson Daly? No.
Who's Carson Daly voting for?
So if the TRL of today, I'd say is probably Snapchat, right? I have a sibling who's probably a little bit older than you guys, but I think if we were to get someone influential to you guys, and maybe was to send out Snapchat or be on any other platform you guys are on, I know you're probably a little ahead of me, but if we had to let you guys know what the issues are and who stands for what through a quick medium, a 15-second Snapchat, I think all you guys would be a little more influenced.
Cool. So I want to open up for a couple of questions. I know you guys are running a little bit behind, but I want to open it up and make sure that you have that opportunity. Any questions? Oh, come on. Word to the wise, always have a question prepared when a panelist is taking out their time.
Yeah, how would you feel if all of this technology was taken away from you in like one big snap? One big snap of your fingers, everything's gone. Technology, Snapchat, Instagram, everything. Bye. Gone.
I think that would be unemployed. I'd be sad because I'd be working at J. Crew, I think, for pants. So that would suck. But I mean, I think that we'd have to figure out how to move forward in terms of like big communication but I mean we do rely on it a lot. I think about when I was younger and I couldn't communicate with people. If like I went to like a mall, you're like, how did we know to meet at 2:00 and where to meet? Or like how am I if I'm driving to some weird place? How do I get there? Like I don't know how to function in society any longer without technology. So that can be pretty tough. Maybe we'd all die. I don't know.
But you guys used to use the old map like before GPS?
Yeah, I used to. One of our brands is a brand called MapQuest. I used to print out MapQuest instructions and like have them and kind of like holding while you're driving. That was way more dangerous than texting while driving.
Any more questions? All righty.
Do you believe it's high school is an appropriate time to introduce CS to students, or do you think it should start earlier, such as middle school or starting even as early as elementary?
Introduce what?
Coding, CS.
I think as early as possible, to be honest. I think coding is huge. Like I know like very basic coding, which I've learned in the past year, but like it's been enormously helpful for me, and I think any job, especially that you guys are going to be going out for, that's only like a plus for you to have on your resume. I think in anything that you do, coding is a baseline now. I build emails for internal employees, and I have to know coding. I think getting started right off the bat and making it something like as general as math for everyone can only help you.
also think that at a younger age, you pick up things so much quicker. Like my niece, she's 8 years old and she's incredible at Spanish. And if you just think about like languages in general, not like even computer science languages, at a younger age, you pick up things a lot quicker. And so the younger you are when you learn these things, the more proficient you'll be once you're older.
Yeah, it's an awesome analogy that code to languages is so accurate, because even if you learn a base language and then you have to kind of go off of that and like, oh, what's C#, what's Ruby, what's like there's 100 different languages that you can code in. So like getting a base when you're young and figure out where you're going and which path is right for you, I think is really important.
And then you will also know things that your employers don't even know. Like I've had interns who have like taught me how to use Snapchat, and like that's really valuable. And so getting kind of ahead of all that stuff, I know Snapchat isn't coding, but different sort of like technological skills that you have, you can get ahead of the people who you're working for, and that makes you totally indispensable because they need you and they need you to master these skills that they don't have or that they have in limited quantity. So yeah, I'm getting ahead of all of that stuff, including social media, but especially coding is super important.
Cool.
My name is Ciaran, and I was about to ask, what good colleges is there for game design?
For game design?
Yeah.
Colleges. I mean, there's a few different ones. There's specifically some of the colleges out in California, like UC Santa Barbara. Syracuse also has a pretty decent game design program. Columbia actually has a really good one, which is right near here. I know I've actually taught a couple game design classes there in the past. So I mean, there's a number of them, but I mean, you can kind of look it up. There's also like Full Sail, which is an online university, but they have a lot of great game design classes. So, and there's a lot of like one of the things, I used to work in the gaming industry here in New York, and there's a lot of great gaming companies here. I used to work for a company called Arcadium, which is more of a casual gaming company. But there's people that you could talk to within the New York space and get more information on gaming. Riot Games is here. There's a lot of companies. I would do some research and see if you can talk to some people within that industry.
Awesome. More questions? All right. Introduce yourself.
So, hi, my name is Daniel, and I would like to ask, like most people these days, some people talk about how technology is like bad for you, like you sit at the computer too long, you don't go outside, it's mostly our parents, and I want to ask, what do you guys think about this?
Thank you. Good question.
Well, I think, technology is obviously really important because it's what we all work on and it pays our bills. But I definitely think you need to find a balance in life. And I think that this was something important to me, and I'm sure with some other people on the panel here, is that find a place that does tell you to have a balanced life. Like, instead of sitting down all day, I have a desk that moves up and down. So I'm working on technology, but I'm standing. That helps our life. We encourage. There's even a nap room in our.
Who likes naps? Oh, sorry. Love naps. Who likes naps?
We have a nap room in our office. That's really big with people in the Huffington Post. We have a gym in our office. So yes, we spend a lot of time tied to technology, but we definitely need to find balance, because at the end of the day, like the most important computer that any of us have in our in our careers are brain. So if you don't keep your brain and body healthy, you're not going to be able to use your skills to create the next new best technology.
I also think tech gets a bad rep, but there are a lot of like really cool apps and programs that help your health actually. Like I have like running apps, and like everyone's got a Fitbit nowadays. It's like yes, there are those instances where you're sitting in front of a screen all day, like you should probably go outside at some point, but it's also, we can use technology to make ourselves healthier as well. So I think that's actually been a big enhancement for a lot of people's lives, like being able to track things like calories and running and miles and things like that. So kind of putting it on the flip side, technology can help us too.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I worry about most is communication. Communication has become very passive. I mean, I know if someone calls me, I'm like, why didn't you text me? I don't understand why I have to talk to you on the phone, because I hate that. I think everyone has that friend, right? It's like, hey, I'm downstairs. I'm like, why didn't you just text me so I don't have to talk to you? But the good thing is that like you need to have one-on-one communication. It's really important because for your job, you're going to be communicating with people. You need to have that opportunity. And so like sometimes when you're gonna text someone or send them a Snapchat, like FaceTime them or something. Like get some one-on-one time with people because you want to be able to read people, and this is kind of your world, but like have the sense of how people are reacting to things because that's going to help you a lot professionally. Don't only have passive communication.
I think also it's just really important with technology to be self-aware about like how am I actually spending my time? Like there's nothing wrong with using technology, it's great, we all use it, but how many hours are you spending on Twitter? How much do you feel obligated to have read everything, to keep up with everything? Because when you're in college or when you're in the workplace, you're at a huge disadvantage if you can't just sit and turn off your phone and focus for an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. So you really need to know like, am I being productive? Am I keeping myself from being productive? Am I not doing things that are good for me because I just get distracted so easily? Because we all are victim to it. We all get distracted, and that's just because this thing is so easy to like, you just always want to check what's new. But you need to be aware if it's starting to keep you from being able to do the things you need to do and to be able to sit down and focus when you have to, then make some rules for yourself, or even like there's an app called Self-Control that you can use on your computer, and it blocks all of your social media for whatever amount of time you choose. And I use it all the time because I get really distracted at work too. So, just be aware of like where your time is going and whether you're able to tune it out when you need to.
More questions?
Hello, my name is Alexander. I had a question. Are there any other goals that you want to achieve or improve even from this day?
What do you mean, goals that you want to achieve even from this day?
Missions, like what you want to do, what you want to improve to make people happy, or make them feel comfortable in technology, any type of form of technology.
So my goal as a moderator today is to get you guys excited. So to ignite some level of interest beyond your wanting to be in tech, right? So as a recruiter, I look for students that have that curiosity, that initiative, and that hunger. Those are things that you can't buy or teach. And so a lot of the students that come through the system are college students, sure, but they don't have that. And so wanting to engage you all very early, which is why I'm forcing you to talk. I'm coming into the audience and making you introduce yourself, because these are things that are going to make you stand out when you're actually looking for a job. So that's my goal for today. But the panelists may have something different.
Let you guys know what opportunities are out there. Like when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, like AOL was known for pretty much still for dial-up. The online advertising, display, the optimizations we do didn't even really exist, the products I work on. So just let you guys know that like don't be myopic, right? Like look at all the options out there, know what you're good at, what you're interested in, and find the path. Because like I said, everyone where I worked with, there was no one who worked in tech. Tech was newish, not new, but I think I just lived with baby boomers who were all cops, firemen, nurses, and teachers. So go out there and explore. You don't have to do what everyone around you does. There's plenty of options out there. You're in New York City, find internships, find programs, and find what you like and be the best you can.
I think a little bit is also kind of demystifying everything. Like, I know like you guys all have phones with you. You probably use, Snapchat or Instagram on a regular basis. Like, it's not that hard to do that. It's not that hard to be the person that creates the next Snapchat or the next Instagram. Like you have that opportunity, so get excited about it because you can be one of those people. That's it.
Yeah, I think like whatever you're really into and really excited about and really passionate about, you can kind of like merge that with technology to do something like incredible. And we see this a lot at HuffPost. Like we have writers who are really passionate about women's rights and they write about that all day, or they really care about social good, and so they've created some sort of like app that allows people to directly donate money to the Nepal earthquake when they read a story about it. So it's like taking, I think the key is, in my mind at least, figuring out what you really care about and what gets you really psyched, and like finding a way to use technology to really do something big around that, or to get your voice out, or to create a new service. Like there's so many opportunities in a way that there didn't used to be before there was this huge tech boom. So it's a unique sort of time, I think, for you to be starting your careers.
So I'm going to give you back 10 minutes in your day. Is there one last question before we wrap up? Cool.
My question is, if you didn't pursue a career path in technology, what other career path would you have pursued?
When I was in college, I wasn't even gonna go into tech actually. When I was in college, I wanted to be a sports agent. So that would have been a lot of law, sports management, kind of like that path. And then I came across an article on Mashable, I think, that kind of led me in a totally different direction. I ended up taking a fellowship to go into this apprenticeship role where I had a mentor for 2 years. So that's probably what I would have gone, somewhere in the sports realm.
I was a history major, so I was gonna be a history teacher.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
I thought I was going to go into banking, but I had my first internship and hated it. So I wanted to find an industry that I would enjoy myself every day.
I'm really interested in how the mind works, which is what I write about. So I probably would have gone into psychotherapy if I didn't end up being a writer.
Oh boy. I actually am one of the few people that majored in what I actually do now. So I majored in communications and I'm working in communications. But if I were to go back, I would definitely do something with computer science, actually. I think like working on apps is great. Like I would love to be kind of involved on more of the back end. And again, like learning more about coding and everything. So that's why I'm super jealous of you guys, because you already have this foundation and you're jumping in so early. But again, I think there's something to be said about what you know, maybe your first job, your second job, that's not going to be your job forever either. If you want to change paths and do something totally different, you can. You're not locked to like, okay, I'm in communications, I have to be in communications for the rest of my life. If you want to learn about coding, which I do, you know, you can take a separate class, pursue it in a different way. So I think opportunities are still there.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for your time today. And I know it's super busy.